All right, welcome in everybody to the Dynamo post-game show. Looking forward to hearing your opinions here tonight on the Dynamo match here in the Leagues Cup. The Dynamo tonight at Shell Energy Stadium. Year 2 of the Leagues Cup, kicking off their competition in Group H against Atlas from Mexico. And tonight, Atlas from Mexico get a 1-0 victory. Exceptional goal from the second half sub, Jose Lozano, pretty quickly after he came on. And it was a wonderful little roll ball back, a back heel that came from Mateo Garcia, also a second half sub. So there's a bench that did something for Atlas here tonight. The problem here is the Dynamo now don't get a win at home. It's been rough. They've only won 4 games at home here now in 12. 4 home games in 12 games.
Is that including Open Cup too?
Not including the Open Cup. 4-2-5 in Major League Soccer play, and then, of course, now 0-1 against Atlas. So we would love to get your thoughts here tonight. Let's go pros and cons. This was a very, very defensive kind of night here. Atlas came in here under their manager, Bernat San Jose, looking to hit the Dynamo in transition. They had some threatening moments early. They had one from Murillo, and that's where they threatened. They had another opportunity when Camilo Vargas in goal, who might be the MVP tonight of this game, come up with some great saves. The Colombian goalkeeper in the Copa America. He had a long ball that he stuck to Murillo, and Artur made an amazing play tracking back here. So Lozano's goal came in the 83rd minute. Quickly, Atlas and Bernat San Jose got on extra defenders here. They defended it out tonight. Dynamo had a hard time carving out chances in this one. And for all intents and purposes here, it was one play or we were going to penalty kicks. And if you remember last year, the first, I think, 3 or 4 games the Dynamo were in all went to penalty kicks, first 3, against Orlando City, Santos, and Pachuca. Let's see. Agent winners, there was nothing Clark could have done to have saved that goal, no question. It was off the post. We got a bit unlucky. You make your own luck, I guess. I would want you to explain that a little bit more. Jose Juarez said, I'm sad and disappointed. We could have won, only club that has lost versus Liga MX. Well, yeah, it's early in the tournament, but I hear you. I want to beat Mexican teams too. And I know the Dynamo did. I just don't think there was really enough in carving out chances and, set pieces that weren't able to take advantage of. There were, I would say, some decent chances. Let me backtrack on that. If we go, Hector Herrera had 1 or 2. I'm trying to remember which was the best one. Ponce had one that he pulled wide. I think Ponce had a very, very good night, except he didn't get enough chances. But I think what we saw from him tonight that we didn't get to see in the first 45 minutes he played in MLS was that, 1, he's good back to goal. 2, he's intelligent. 3, he's very professional. And 4, he's capable of coming back into midfield, picking the ball up, getting turned, and then being a provider. Now, the thing is, in this Olsen system, he's back defending a lot. Your first 2 people are Bossy and him, and that's your first line of defense. So he's going to have to do a lot of that other stuff. And you often see the Dynamo, everybody back behind the ball defensively with no one at the halfway line. If you're at the halfway line, you're going to at least take 1 player with you. Honestly, if you got a player at the halfway line and it's one-on-one, I like that. And a lot of teams will keep 2 back. Update on Coco. I believe it's muscular. That's all I can say. Maybe a groin, but I don't want to sit here and play doctor. But it looked muscular, obviously. It wasn't anything to do with his head. But there are no updates. You generally will get it's a lower body injury at some point, I think. You're not going to get anything specific. Okay, Jose also says goal was a golazo, but still we were better than Atlas. Well, Atlas won't tell you that. Atlas will say we came in here, and Bernat San Jose will say I implemented my game plan. We defended a lot. We didn't have as much of the ball. We played direct at times. We got the 1 play, the 1 goal we needed, and he'll tell you that they were the better team. So I guess we can look at it any way we really want. Shots were even at 13-13. Now that's interesting. And shots on target were even at 7-7. That said, the Dynamo had 60% of the ball. That's a lot. They outpossessed Atlas in a big way. Dynamo had 5 crosses to 4 for Atlas. Dynamo had more corners in this game, and the Dynamo got into the final third more. 6 corners for the Houston Dynamo tonight. That's a good sign. The other big key for me is Lawrence Anali coming into this tonight. Now, we got a glimpse of somebody we really didn't know about. What we did know is he had pace. What we did know was that Ben Olsen told us that this was a player to really, really keep an eye on, Lawrence Anali. Now, the real question is, because he was dangerous. He earned your corners. He came inside. He was elusive, good on the ball, very professional for a 22-year-old. A lot going on there with him. I mean, I think his debut couldn't have gone better except for maybe a goal or leading something to a goal. But 22-year-old kid from Germany, played in Poland, looks to be a really, really good sign and a real good injection of pace. So I ask you out there tonight, is there a way to get him on the field along with Aliu? So you have 2 speedsters, one on either side of the field. I don't know if Ben Olsen's going to try to do that. I don't know if he's going to need to try to do that and change the structure and the game model of the team in a big way to accommodate, to get more pace on the field. That goes away from building off of defending first, which, regardless of what you say, that's what the Dynamo do. Because, number one, being a better possession team is a defensive weapon. Anali was a top 2 player on the pitch tonight from Agent Winners, him or Bassi. Bassi had that blast at the beginning of the second half. Yeah, he had a good game, too. We got to give him props. That ball had a lot of movement in it from where I watched. Yeah, Jose says, I hope Aliu goes to the right. But that means the Dynamo system under Ben Olsen will change a lot. I don't think you're going to tuck Aliu in like you do Coco. Aliu would have to play wider. What do you do with Coco? Does Coco play instead of Bassi? So there's a lot of options now. A lot of options. And Aliu now has to think, okay, if in fact Ben Olsen, and this is what Ben did say, Ben said, and Ali's competing with Aliu for that position. So if that's so, he's competing with the leading scorer for the Dynamo, who has 6, Aliu. That means you're only going to have one or 2 of your guys that have real full throttle pace, that can penetrate, that can give a vertical option, that can put a little fear into an opponent. Ponce, again, I think had a decent game as well. So the Dynamo get to lie in wait. They will take on Atlas. When do they play? They take on Real Salt Lake.
August 5th.
Yeah, so they play them the 5th, and prior to that, Atlas will play Real Salt Lake. So you're going to know exactly what you're going to need to do in that game, and likely might be a win at this point. I'm thinking you're going to need to take a full 3 points here. But we'll see what happens there. Let's see. What else we got? Any more thoughts on Ponce? Any more thoughts from you guys out there on this game?
Hopefully the new forward influences the forwards to be more aggressive. The creator position gives us different attacking options, but the wingers open the field and also help.
Well,
shots
it was still a methodical build-up, I think, here tonight. The Dynamo look for transitional moments at times. It's pretty methodical because, remember, the build-up is in and around Hector. You're going to play at Hector's tempo for the most part. Yeah, and Ali was great. He's exciting. There could be something really good for him in this market, I think. Clark was remarkable. Again, chances weren't finished. His style is more pace-driven. I hope to see the forwards moving more and causing the trouble they should be. Well, I've always defended Ferreira a little bit because in the build-up with the Dynamo, when it's methodical, there's no room to run. I mean, it all has to be really tight, little short, tight touches. Even the Atlas goal that they scored, that was done in a really small piece of space. And it was really opened up because of a back heel. And it was also a goal scored because Jose Lozano got a shot off so quickly. And that was 2 subs off the bench. So their bench won tonight. Ours didn't. Ours won probably in Vancouver. If the Smile is more pace-driven, yeah, see, that's the thing. If you play with 2 wingers, you're going to be more apt to try to hit stuff in front of them and be vertical And now you're going to have to try to find that balance between the build-up game and the possession game with Hector. And you may have to lose a little bit of that maybe to gain a little bit of something else. Do you want to do that as a manager right now? I think that would be a good question for Ben Olsen. I didn't think Ponce had a good performance. Yeah, I did. I actually thought he showed us other things, like I said at the beginning of this, that he can come back into midfield and turn, that he can play tight in the box, he can hold the play up, he can turn and play a pass. Now, if you're judging him on how many shots he only had one, and that was from an angle, and it was shot wide in the first half off a Hector pass. I think he's a good soccer player. I think you're still in the phase of the romance period where you're trying to figure out how to play with him, but that gets back to playing with two wingers. Two wingers would be exactly what Ponce wants. Ponce doesn't want to play in a congested penalty area where you're not going to get a lot of clear chances and you're not going to get to face the goal very often. In this Dynamo system, you're a striker who's got his back to goal more. Whether you're Ponce, Ferreira, or the next coming of Cristiano Ronaldo, you're going to play with your back to goal. That's the bottom line. Do you consider that the system must be adjusted to increase the number of chances? Well, I pretty much just said that. If, in fact, the Dynamo want to pull off and Ben Olsen wants to pull off of some of the areas that they want a narrow game. They want inverted wingers. They got a tucked-in winger on one side of the field. They got an inverted winger on the left. Keeps everything narrow. Like I've said repeatedly here, that way when you lose the ball, you're in and around the ball and you can repress. And it forces opponents to go around you and make an extra pass or two so you can recover your team shape defensively. No question about it. But I think they have to go back to the drawing board, and I think they do have to consider, if they want to go big maybe, they do have to consider playing with two wingers. But, you know, if we had Ben Olsen in here right now and I asked him that, he might say, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. And no indications of that yet. But we'll see.
Because you were asking during the game. Ponce finished tonight with 32 touches. He did have one chance created, and he did have one shot.
Yeah, the one shot down that left side.
Yep.
He did turn once very quickly and had a shot blocked. So, you know, he's going to have to get used to this. Remember, this is a guy that was getting chances at AEK Athens in Greece. I know this. I've talked to my friends in Greece. And this is a guy that also was scoring a goal every 2 games. So this is a guy who wants to score goals. Now, one thing I observed that maybe you didn't see was when he came off, he, not disrespectfully, he was mad. And I've said repeatedly that we need a striker on this team, even if you win, that is pissed off that he's not scoring goals. And I think this may be the guy. So you can't write a man off after 2 stints here on a new team, and he's only been here, 3 weeks or so. What do we got?
Lawrence Nolly, 21 touches. He had 2 in the box, 1 chance created, and 1 shot on target.
Yeah, turn of pace.
25 minutes.
No question. Listen, there was other things he did. He once 1 minute he was forward and got in behind. The next minute he chased 60, 70 yards back and caught the fastest guy on. Well, he caught one of the quicker guys on Atlas defensively. So he was all in on both sides of the ball. I like that. Vicente says, do you consider the system must... Okay, we talked about that. Jose, I love Ponce, brings fire to the team. Very tactically smart. Yeah, and really has an air, to me, a real air of professionalism. But it's not only on him to produce goals. It's on the Dynamo to service him correctly as well. They must win on Monday, no question. Hope Atlas beats or draws Salt Lake. That's right. How is the possibility of group stage to the group, and how meaningful is the possibility? Well, I think it's really meaningful. I don't think we want to lose to Mexican teams. I think Ben Olsen made it clear they want to win this tournament. And, you lose your second game, you got a couple of weeks on your own training. I don't know where you're going to get an 11-a-side game, but, yeah. Yes, the hunger is needed. Only a matter of time before Ponce starts scoring. I like that. Well, like I said, he's got to get help. Every center forward's got to have people helping to create for him. But I agree with you. I think he's going to score goals.
I don't think it's going to be in the same level as what Liga MX teams will do to their coaches if they get knocked out of this tournament. But it's got to be a failure. It's got to be labeled as a failure if we don't make it out of the group.
Oh, no question.
You
I mean,
know,
that goes
it's-
without saying. I mean,
especially with this team, the investment.
let me
that they
just
made.
tell you what happened with Unam Pumas when they lost to Austin, and they lost to Austin with 10 men. They got totally abused by the press in Mexico City, and they were called clowns and everything that goes along with losing what they said, quote unquote, was a mediocre MLS team, which I think Austin has been mediocre. I think there's a lot of mediocre teams in MLS in the first half of the season. I just think the way the league is structured, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I just think the way the league's structured, it allows you to be mediocre. And it allows you to then get to this phase, add people to your team, and away you hopefully go with your changes. But the Dynamo certainly have two good players that they've picked up. They've spent money on them. Good for them. And then, we're going to see how they're integrated. But I think it's the other thing you want to go deep in this tournament is simply because you want to continue to integrate those guys and give them opportunity as you continue to go forward. Anything else, guys? If we got anything else to keep this going, I want to remind you, like us here. Soccer Matters is Monday and Tuesday. I'm gonna have some Tigres talk on that show. We'll have more Dynamo talk. We'll take a look at some of the Leagues Cup things and results that have come in. We'll do a little Olympic team talk. They got a 4-1 win over New Zealand. That was a good thing. They needed that after the France loss. So anything else out there from any of you guys? I thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. I hope you have a good Sunday. Again, if you can like this page or follow us, that would be great. If you can come on and join me for Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5 on Monday and Tuesday, 6 o'clock Central, we would love that. If you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram, at Glenn Davis Sock, at Soccer Matters GD, and also, shamefully, I will say, in a promotional way, please go to lamontbrands.com, get the soccer. Where are they? Hold on.
Also,
we got props.
Come right back here, August 5th. The game starts at 8 o'clock, so we'll go live at 7:30 for the pregame show. Beautiful Soccer Matters shirts.
All right, what do you think of this shirt? $20, super light. It all goes to a 501c charity, Snowdrop Foundation. Can I get one person who says they're going to purchase one tonight? LamontBrands.com. Purchase one for the Snowdrop Foundation, which is, let me just tell you about the Snowdrop. My charity thing has been pediatric cancer. I got hooked up with Snowdrop. We do a lot of events. We've raised a couple of $100,000 over the year. What does he mean by dry fit?
Dry fit. It's the type of material. They are not
No,
dry fit.
pure 100% cotton. Only way to go, Alberto. Or no, it's Albert. Okay. But anyway, Snowdrop's a great foundation. They provide scholarships to pediatric cancer survivors, to university. I was at a luncheon. It was fantastic. These kids are amazing. They're amazing fighters. They surely, when you visit them in the hospital, they put you in a place where you go, you got absolutely nothing to complain about, Glenn Davis. So that's it. So if you want to look up the Snowdrop Foundation, it's a 501c charity. A lot of great people there. They raise a lot of money for scholarships and also for cancer, pediatric cancer research.
And they have the amazing soccer clinic that you do.
Well, with the youth club, Cy-Fair Dynamos out in Cy-Fair and Olivier Finidori. Every year they do a clinic. You know, we've had dinners in the past. Everything we do, and we give the money all to Snowdrop, including the T-shirts and the hats. So there you go. Any news on Tigres versus Miami? 50,000 tickets are out. I've heard that. I can't give you any update on the Messi injury. I can't see him playing. That's it. And then don't forget, you got Tigres in here Wednesday against Puebla. Puebla's coached by Chepo de la Torre, who used to be the Mexico coach. And Puebla just came off a 2-1 loss to this Atlas team. So it'll be Tigres time here. Tigres is in town. I was at their press conference. They're doing a whole Tigres week here in Houston. And tomorrow night, Tigres will play the Houston Dash. So that should be a fun game to get to tomorrow night. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me tonight. I hope you have a good Sunday. It's going to do it for Justin as well. Thanks a lot again for all the great contribution and all the great soccer passion you guys have brought here tonight on the pre- and post-game show here, YouTube Soccer Matters.